Hi there, good afternoon. In fact, it's almost good evening. And here we are with a session on CUET. So I know that some of you wanted sessions on CUET as well, and I told you that the moment we are done with Maharashtra CET, the moment we could wrap that up, we will definitely start with CUET as well. So actually, we have not been able to wrap up Maharashtra CET yet. After all, the exam is still coming up, but then the dates clashed, right? So as a result, I don't think we could have waited any longer, and thus here we are with a session on CUET. So before I start, is there anything that you want to ask? So any question that you may have for me? So as you can see, this session is about important questions of a segment called English/Comprehension by the CUET guys. Now the CAT guys would typically call it VARC, different exams, Maharashtra CET calls it English language, so whatever it is. At the end of the day, we are talking about English, and here is something that I want you to think of before we start. So let's go ahead and dive into the CUET exam. So here is a brief overview of what to expect. So test duration 105 minutes. In these 105 minutes, you are supposed to go through 75 questions where every question carries 4 marks. But if you get it wrong, there will be a penalty of -1. Okay. Then basically the exam asks you logical reasoning, data interpretation, quantitative aptitude, and of course English/comprehension. And if we dive deeper into this English/comprehension part, then the syllabus of this section as far as CUET PG, CUET MBA PG goes, they are going to ask you questions on English grammar and English usage errors. So when they say English grammar, it basically means that they can get into some foundation questions as well. Okay, so things like parts of speech, syntax, etc. can be asked when they talk about English grammar and usage errors separately. Then you can get a parajumble, but worry not, there's going to be an MCQ here. Sentence correction, again grammar. Sentence improvement, again grammar. So these are basically all grammar based questions so far, but then you can also expect reading comprehension, you can expect paragraph completion, you can expect some vocabulary based questions like one word substitution, synonyms, antonyms, and idioms and phrases. So if you look at it purely in terms of syllabus, can I say that it is essentially something that resembles Maharashtra CET? And that's what I said in my CET sessions as well, that if you continue to attend these, you definitely be very well prepared for CMAT as well. Sorry, CUET PG as well, and of course CMAT too. It is just that the syllabus of Maharashtra CET is a little more vast. So in Maharashtra CET, we can also get verbal analogies. We've also seen critical reasoning, etc. So you need to prepare for these. When it comes to CUET PG, you can rest easy. So let's go ahead and have a look at the kind of questions that we can expect on 12th of March, because that is when your CUET MBA PG exam is going to be. I think it's in the 3rd slot, so if my memory serves me right, 4 p.m. onwards, and the reporting time for this exam is fairly easy, so fairly early. So I think that they expect you to report by 2:20, if I'm not mistaken, right? So go ahead and sample some of these questions now. So here are the directions to the first 8 questions. In each one of these questions, I've given you a sentence divided into 3 parts. If any of those 3 parts has an error, please choose that as your answer. On the other hand, okay, in some of the questions I may also give you no error as an option. So if there is no error, you can go ahead and choose that as well. So here is your first question on the screen and your time starts now. All right. So the first question, the timer is over, and the correct answer here is, guys, where are the answers, guys? What happened? It is option A. You notice this noun. It is the plural of crisis. So crisis is singular, crises is plural, and the trouble is this is plural, but we also happen to have this a added before it, whereas we know that a or an can never be used with a plural noun. So I think you either remove this a or you change crises into crisis, and that will go ahead and fix it. And that is why A is our answer. Okay, hi, I hope Abhirami that helps. So here is the next one on your screen, and the clock is ticking now. Okay, so in case you are not very sure of this particular question, you need to look at tense, particularly conditional sentences. So, you know, in conditional sentences, the part after if can be stated using simple present tense or simple past tense or past perfect tense. So it is in simple past, but if this is in simple past, this should have been would. But then this has tells us that, hey, we are not talking about that, we are in fact talking about present. So instead of left, we basically need to go ahead and use leave. And that is why the correct answer should be option D. And here is your next question. Question number 3 on your screen. So with the timer out of the way, the correct answer here is option A, and that is because the who that you see here is used for persons, but here it is referring to a series of studies. This is very clearly not a person, and therefore the use of who will be wrong. It should be which or that. Okay, and with that, here is your next question on the screen with the clock ticking. Okay, so for question number 4, there remains a considerate doubt. This word is not right. The adjective that we need is actually considerable. So there remains a considerable doubt. Considerate is somebody who thinks of the feelings or interests of the others and acts accordingly. Okay, we needed considerable. Considerable is something that is important enough to be worth thinking about. So Abhirami, you should actually be happy. So as a result, the answer for 4th is A. And you should be happy because if you could not spot this error today, it means that you learned something new. And because you learned something new, that increases your probability of spotting an error in the exam. And that's exactly how I think we would have it. Okay, so here is the next one. This should be easy for those of you who have gone through subject-verb agreement. Okay, so there are some instances and some places where logic may not give you the right answer. So when you look at the subject in this sentence, it says more than one. More than one means at least two, and at least two is very clearly a plural, but for some strange reason, whenever we use more than one in some, and it is followed by some plural number, we know the subject is always singular, and therefore instead of are we need to have is, and that is why the correct answer should be option C. I hope you learned something new, and I think this time around, yes, Asmita, Shreyan, Shitanshi definitely managed to get this right. Here is the next one for you. Abhirami, try this one. This one should be easy. Should I give you a hint as well? Focus on the prepositions. Okay, so when you look at depend, depend is not followed by at, it is followed by on or upon, and consequently your answer should be D. Prepositions in fact do get asked very frequently, and therefore I would expect you to spend enough time on that, but I think quite a few of you have definitely managed to land this perfectly, so that's correct. Here is the next question of this particular set. All right, so what's our take on question number 7? Preferable is not followed by then. Preferable is, on the other hand, followed by to, and that is why our answer must be C, preferable to. So you notice prefer, preferable, all those adjectives that end in or, all those comparative adjectives that end in or, they are typically followed by to, and this is one of those errors that does get checked, does get tested rather frequently. So with that, let me dive into your next one. Here is question number 8 for you. And the clock is ticking. All right. So, have you heard of something called parallelism or parallel construction? So, this is basically about parallelism. So, whenever you use a correlative conjunction is basically a paired conjunction, a conjunction that comes in pairs. So, in such situations, in such scenarios, we are supposed to make sure that both the paths that are connected using that conjunction happen to be similar in terms of their outward appearance, and that's where option D becomes wrong. So we can neither wait for something to happen nor take evasive action. Okay, so just use the verb along with its object on both the sides, and that should be an absolutely perfect fit for us, and that is why the correct answer is D. Let's just remove can we. And there you go. So that's about the first set of questions where I asked you to pick up errors. Here is the next set of 2 questions which are sentence, in a way you can say sentence improvement questions. So you'll get a question, a part of that sentence in that question will be highlighted or underlined. You need to see if that part requires replacement. In case it is wrong, in case everything is all right, everything is hunky-dory, you of course can always go ahead and choose no correction required as your answer. So here is your next question. Okay, so the problem with this here is that this sentence actually happens to have a dangling, rather in fact instead of dangling, let's call this a misplaced modifier. Who dragged the boat should have been right after the comma, but it is not, and that is why we need to go ahead and fix this. So only one of the options, C, has that, and that is why that should be the answer. Ignore the capitalized parts here. We just need your regular small case T's in each one of these cases. So C. So Abhirami, Karan, Hitanshi, Sahil, double E, absolutely right. And here is the next one. In case you could not get that, I'm giving you the names of the concepts. In case you're not aware of those, you can go ahead and check those, okay? The next one, this should be easy for most of you. Okay, I need not offer any explanation regarding this incident. My behavior is speaking itself does not even make any sense. What he probably wants to say is that his behavior automatically explains that incident. He does not need to go ahead and talk about it. And the correct way of saying it is speaks for itself, and that is why our answer, just as Atharv has suggested, should be option B. So Atarf Sahil, absolutely right. So the problem with A is we don't need future tense. Huh? I need not offer. He's facing it right now. It's not something that needs to get into future. And with that, now let me take you into the world of vocabulary. So, can you give me the synonym of the underlined word? Okay. So, what exactly do you understand by the word tacit? Tacit basically means quiet. Tacit basically means something that was not said or at least said out loud. So tacit approval is an approval that was understood but was not expressly stated, and therefore if you are looking for a synonym, the best answer here will be option D, implied. In fact, words like taciturn and reticent also have the same root, so hopefully these are people who do not speak much. So TAC, TIC, these root words would generally tell you that the person remains quiet or the thing in question was not given words to. Okay, question number 12, synonym of endorse. This is easy. Okay, so the correct answer here is option A, endorse basically means support. I think all of us have heard of celebrities endorsing something or the other, right? So when you endorse something, you support it or you promote it, and that is why our answer is D. Here is the next question, but this time around I am asking you for the antonym of the given word. So no longer a synonym, the word is indigenous, and the time starts now. Okay, so here is a hint for you. Can you name some indigenous tribes of India? Remember Gond, Bhil, Santhal, Andamanis, Khasi, Garo, indigenous. Indigenous basically means local. And the opposite of local is of course foreign, and that is why it is the answer. Karan, when it comes to vocabulary, if you know the meanings of the words, then it is easy. If you do not, then it becomes difficult. Indigent is somebody who is poor. Indignant is somebody who is angry, especially due to some injustice that was meted out. Okay, so these here are the meanings of the remaining words, and the next one. So another question where I'm asking you for the antonym of wholesome. All right, so the meaning of wholesome is something that is good for you, something that is likely to improve your life either physically or emotionally or morally. So for example, when I say wholesome food, food that is going to make you healthy. I say, oh, this movie is wholesome family entertainment, then it's going to be good for the family. So one of the meanings, as you can see, that is emerging is healthy, and therefore the antonym obviously will be unhealthy. Incomprehensible means something that cannot be understood. Okay, so the answer here is otherwise B, and here is your next one. What happened? The same question got repeated. Hang on. Here is the next one. So this time around you have an idiom and you're supposed to give me the meaning of that idiom. Okay, just 2 answers so far. Let's make that 3 and 4 and 5. Okay, so now see, at 6s and 7s, if you say that someone or something is at 6s and 7s, you mean that they are confused or that they are disorganized. For example, you can say the government is at 6s and 7s over the issue of domestic security. So considering that we are looking for the meaning of this particular idiom, as you can see, A is the one that comes closest to it, and that is why A should be chosen as an answer, which most of you have already figured out. So that's amazing, guys. I'll bring you more CUET sessions. This is just the start, but that's it for the day. We also have started our last lap to Maharashtra CET series. I stated it earlier as well that you should attend Maharashtra CET sessions as well, because the exam is to a large extent similar. So I will be taking you through a session, a Maharashtra CET session at 7 p.m. today, where we talk about verbal reasoning. And we also have a very exhaustive course which can be useful for a lot of other non-CAT exams, including CUET PG. So that's it from me today. I look forward to meeting you once again at 7 and thereafter tomorrow. Until then, stay safe, stay focused, keep working hard, and do let me know if there is anything that you need help with. And don't forget to like the video. Take care and see you soon.